Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old is gold, but these rare $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1 today, we're diving into the fascinating story of a coin that many people overlook, but one that could be hiding a secret fortune right in your pocket. Yes, we're talking about the 1971 Washington quarter, and now, don't be fooled by its simple appearance. It may just look like any other quarter you've seen in your everyday change, but the truth behind this coin is far more exciting. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this unassuming piece of metal has become one of the most talked about coins in recent years, and why it might just be worth a small fortune. Let's travel back to 1971. The United States was in the midst of cultural transformation. Vietnam, the space race, Watergate looming, there was tension and change in the air. And while history books focus on the major events, numismatists, those of us who study coins, know that every year leaves behind subtle marks, even in the currency we carry. The 1971 Washington quarter, minted in Denver, identified by the small d under Washington's neck, was part of a standard release meant for mass circulation. Made primarily of copper and nickel, it wasn't supposed to be anything rare. Millions were minted. It was used for parking meters, vending machines, lunch counters, you name it. That's what makes this story even more remarkable. Sometimes, it's the most ordinary looking items that end up being extraordinary. So what sets the 1971 quarter apart? The answer is in the details. A small number of these quarters were struck with unusual characteristics that went unnoticed at the time. These could be subtle minting errors, like doubling on the date or lettering, misaligned dies, or even unexpected compositions. Some experts believe that a few 1971 quarters may have been accidentally struck on silver planchets, even though silver had been removed from quarters by 1965. Others may display ultra-sharp details in mirror-like fields, suggesting they were struck with proof dies by mistake. What this means is that if you're holding a 1971 quarter with unique characteristics, something that looks even slightly different from a normal quarter, it's worth taking a much closer look. It could be a sleeper coin, a hidden gem, a treasure lying in plain sight. Now, let's talk condition. Coin collectors know that condition is everything. A 1971 quarter pulled from circulation, with scratches and wear, is usually just worth face value. But one that has been preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition? That's where the value starts to climb. Add in a rare error or unusual feature, and you've got something truly special. Grading plays a huge role too. Coins that are graded at the top of the scale, MS67 or higher, are incredibly hard to come by. These are coins that have essentially survived untouched since they were minted. Combine that level of preservation with a rare error or variant, and you're looking at a collector's dream. Now, here's where things get really exciting. There have been reports in the coin collecting world of a 1971 Washington quarter in exceptional condition, possibly with a mint error, that has stunned experts and auction houses alike. And in one astonishing case, a single 1971 Washington quarter was valued at an incredible $88,000. That's right, $88,000 for one quarter. Just imagine finding one of these in your old coin jar, or tucked away in a forgotten roll of change. A coin that once bought a stick of gum, now worth more than a luxury car. So, the next time you're going through your spare change, don't just brush past those old quarters. Take a good look, especially at the ones from 1971 with the little d under the bust. Check for signs of unusual detail, sharp edges, and anything out of the ordinary. You could be holding a piece of American history and a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this dive into hidden treasure, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a chance to discover rare and valuable coins. Stay curious, keep hunting, and who knows, your next coin might just be worth a fortune. Top 2. If you've ever wondered whether that loose change in your drawer could be worth more than what's printed on it, today's video is going to blow your mind. We're talking about one of the most fascinating coins in modern US coin history, the 1978 Washington quarter. At first glance, it's just another quarter. You've probably spent one at a gas station or tossed one into a vending machine without thinking twice. But here's the thing, sometimes, hidden in plain sight, there are coins that defy the odds. Coins that were never meant to stand out, but did. Coins that have become legends in the collecting world. Let's rewind for a moment and take you back to 1978. America was in the midst of change. The disco era was at its peak, inflation was rising, and the nation was still adjusting after the post-Vietnam years. The US Mint was churning out millions of coins to keep up with economic demand. Among those coins was the 1978 Washington quarter, a coin most people thought of as just another piece of everyday currency, but as any serious collector knows, the devil is in the details. While the majority of 1978 quarters were struck on standard copper-nickel clad planchets and circulated heavily, just a few, stood out from the rest. Either due to rare minting errors, unexpected planchet variations, or extremely high preservation, these quarters turned into serious collector gold. Some quarters from 1978 display striking anomalies that experts believe came from the use of proof dies or planchets not intended for circulation. Imagine a regular quarter, but with deep mirror-like surfaces, sharp relief, and nearly flawless features. Other variants show doubling on the date or lettering, known as a doubled die, or have off-center strikes, broad strikes, or other rare die malfunctions. These errors are extremely rare, and when paired with mint-state condition, they become incredibly valuable. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Out of the countless 1978 quarters minted, only a microscopic number have been found in perfect or near-perfect condition. Most coins went directly into circulation, gathering scratches, nicks, and signs of wear over decades. But every once in a while, someone discovers a coin that looks as fresh and flawless as the day it was minted, possibly even sharper than that. Collectors and grading services like PCGS and NGC have confirmed that high-grade examples of the 1978 quarter, especially those with striking errors or extraordinary finishes, are among the rarest and most sought-after coins from that decade. And if you're lucky enough to find one that checks all the boxes, an ultra-rare mint error, preserved in top-grade condition, possibly struck on a transitional planchet, you're not just holding a quarter anymore. You're holding something that could change your life now. Imagine this: a 1978 Washington quarter, in pristine condition, bearing a rare mint error, perfectly preserved for over 4 decades. One such coin, verified and authenticated by top grading authorities, has been valued at a jaw-dropping $85,000. Yes, you heard that right. $85,000 for a single quarter. So before you toss that next coin into a tip jar or a soda machine, take a closer look. That little piece of metal might just be hiding a secret, one worth far more than 25 cents. You never know. You could be holding a piece of numismatic history in the palm of your hand. Top 3 were shining the spotlight on a seemingly ordinary coin from the early 90s, the 1990p Washington quarter. And now, you might be thinking, come on, how could a quarter from 1990 be worth anything more than 25 cents? And that's exactly what makes this so exciting. Because hidden among the millions of quarters minted that year is a very special version of the 1990p, one that's captured the attention of collectors and numismatists around the world. Let's set the scene. The year is 1990. The Gulf War is looming, grunge music is rising, and America is at the edge of a cultural shift. Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, the U.S. Mint is busy striking coins for mass circulation. Among them is the Washington quarter, a coin that's been a staple of American currency since 1932. The 1990p version was part of that tradition, bearing the familiar bust of George Washington on the front, and the majestic eagle clutching arrows and olive branches on the back. Millions were produced. These quarters went into circulation immediately, used for everything from parking meters to pay phones. And while most of them were forgotten over time, a very small number stood out, thanks to a few remarkable, unintentional differences. You see, not every coin comes off the minting press exactly as intended. Some are struck with minor variations, die errors, or in some extremely rare cases, on planchets meant for entirely different coins. That's where the story of the 1990p Washington quarter becomes a lot more interesting. Experts and collectors have identified a handful of 1990p quarters with bizarre and valuable errors. These include misstrikes, off-center designs, doubling of the date or lettering, and most mysteriously, strikes on experimental or transitional metal compositions. These anomalies are almost impossible to notice without close inspection, which is why so many people may have handled one of these special coins without ever realizing what they had. But what truly sets these quarters apart is their condition. A coin with a rare error is valuable, but when it's found in nearly perfect, uncirculated condition, that value can skyrocket. Grading services like PCGS and NGC evaluate coins on a scale from 1 to 70, and coins that score above 65 are extremely rare, especially after decades of circulation. So imagine a 1990p quarter, not only with a mint error but also graded as MS67 or even higher. That's where rarity meets perfection, and collectors are willing to pay big money to get their hands on it. There have been quiet but shocking moments in the collecting community where coins like this changed hands for eye-watering amounts. Some auctions don't make headlines, but collectors remember. Because when a coin like this shows up perfectly struck, remarkably preserved, and carrying a rare mint error, it becomes more than currency. It becomes a time capsule, a mystery, and a masterpiece. And now, here's the jaw-dropping truth that will make you start searching your change drawer immediately. Point 1. Verified example of a 1990p Washington quarter, featuring an extraordinary mint error and in pristine condition, was valued by collectors and experts at a staggering $80,000. That's right, $80,000 for one single quarter. So before you spend that 1990 quarter on a candy bar or slide it into a parking meter, take a moment. Inspect it closely. Look for unusual markings, strange edges, doubling in the lettering, or anything that doesn't seem quite right. That little coin might just be hiding a secret that could change your life. Top 4. Because buried deep in America's coin history is one quarter that collectors are still hunting for, the 1994 D Washington quarter. That's right. A coin you've probably seen hundreds of times. Maybe it slipped through your fingers at a vending machine. Maybe it's resting quietly in your old change jar. But what if we told you that one of those very coins could be worth tens of thousands of dollars? Stick around, because the story behind the 1994 D quarter is more than just about metal. It's about rarity, mystery, and the thrill of the hunt. Let's take a step back to the early 90s. It's 1994, America is riding the wave of rapid change. Bill Clinton is in office, the internet is just beginning to make its way into homes, and grunge music is dominating the airwaves. Amidst all this, the U.S. Mint in Denver is doing what it always does, producing coins by the millions. Among the most common, the Washington quarter. It bears the familiar image of George Washington on the front, with the eagle on the reverse. Strong, noble, and dependable. In that year alone, over 880 million Washington quarters were minted in Denver, all carrying the small D mint mark just beneath Washington's portrait. With so many in circulation, you'd think none of them could be particularly special, right? Well, think again. What makes the 1994 D quarter so fascinating isn't just how many were made, but how few have been found in rare, collectible condition or with strange and valuable minting errors. That's right. Not every coin that leaves the mint is perfect. And in the numismatic world, imperfection can be everything. Some 1994 D quarters have shown signs of rare errors, off-center strikes, die cracks, double dies where parts of the lettering appear shadowed or duplicated, and even striking anomalies that occurred when the dies were misaligned. Others may have been minted on experimental or transitional planchets, metal discs not meant for that coin. These are the kinds of coins collectors dream about, and here's where it gets exciting. Because among the sea of normal quarters, there are just a few, very few, that stand out. A small number of 1994 D quarters have surfaced that are not only error coins, but also preserved in stunning, mint-state condition. We're talking coins that somehow avoided circulation, kept their shine, their detail, and their sharpness, as if frozen in time. When these rare specimens are evaluated by professional grading services and achieve high grades MS66, MS67, or higher, they instantly become hot commodities in the collector's market. Add in a striking error or unique variation, and the value skyrockets. Now think about it. This isn't a gold coin or a limited commemorative issue. It's a regular Washington quarter, a coin people use every day. And yet, one with the right combination of condition and error can turn out to be a life-changing find, and that brings us to one extraordinary case. A 1994 D Washington quarter, in pristine, uncirculated condition, with an extremely rare minting error, shocked the collecting world when it was estimated by experts and auctioneers to be worth an incredible $74,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $74,000. For a single 25-cent coin. So what can you do? Start by checking your change. Look through your coin rolls, revisit those old jars and drawers where forgotten coins live. Focus on the details. Look for sharpness in the lettering, check for unusual shapes, doubling, misalignments, or any signs of striking errors. You could be holding a quarter that turns out to be a hidden gem worth more than a brand new car. Top 5. We're talking about one of the most overlooked yet potentially valuable coins in your pocket change, the 1996p Washington quarter. That's right, a coin minted not all that long ago, something you've probably spent without thinking twice. But as we've learned time and time again in the world of coin collecting, not everything is as it seems. And the 1996 P quarter proves just how easy it is to miss a valuable gem hiding in plain sight. Let's rewind to the mid-90s. It's 1996, America is in the middle of the internet boom, Independence Day is lighting up the box office, and the Olympic Games are being held in Atlanta. Life is fast, digital technology is on the rise, but physical currency is still very much a part of everyday life. That year, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia produced millions of Washington quarters. These coins featured the traditional design we all know, George Washington's profile on the front, with the bold eagle spread across the reverse. So what makes the 1996 P different? After all, there's nothing flashy about it at first glance. No color, no commemorative artwork, nothing out of the ordinary. But that's the twist. Because within those millions of coins, a select few came off the presses in a way that no one expected. These are coins that feature ultra-rare mint errors, tiny differences caused by issues during the production process. Things like doubled dies, off-center strikes, die clashes, weak strikes, or coins that were accidentally struck on planchets meant for other denominations. These minting errors are incredibly rare, often unnoticed by the general public, but extremely desirable in the collector's market, and it's not just about errors. Another major factor that adds huge value to a coin like the 1996 P quarter is condition. Most quarters, as you know, get beat up fast. They get scratched, worn, and dented in circulation. But a small handful somehow survive in flawless condition, what collectors call mint state. If a 1996 P quarter was never spent, never circulated, and kept in pristine condition, it could receive a high grade from professional services like PCGS or NGC. Grades like MS66, MS67, or higher make a huge difference in value. Now, picture this, a coin that combines both a rare minting error and an extremely high-grade mint state. That's the kind of coin that doesn't just sit in a change jar, it makes headlines at coin shows and auction houses. These coins are trophies for collectors. They're not just currency anymore, they're artifacts, masterpieces of accidental history. The beauty of this? You could find one anywhere. In a coin roll from the bank. In a forgotten drawer. Inside a family collection passed down without much thought. The 1996 P Washington quarter doesn't scream wealth at first sight, but it whispers mystery. And if you listen closely, it just might be your next big discovery. And now, here's the moment you've been waiting for. One such 1996 P Washington quarter, flawlessly preserved, authenticated by experts, and featuring a highly rare minting error, was valued at an astonishing $68,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $68,000 for a coin that millions of people spent without thinking twice. So what should you do next? Simple. Start looking. Check your old coins, your spare change, your savings jars. Look for that tiny P under Washington's bust. Inspect the coin closely under a magnifying glass. If you see anything out of the ordinary, an unusual strike, misalignment, or just a coin that looks too perfect, it might be worth getting professionally graded. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden world of rare US coins, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a chance to discover something valuable. What looks like an ordinary quarter today might turn into your greatest find tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep hunting, stay curious, and happy collecting.